it's Lil Weezy right there, Young Money, Lil Wayne at Power 95 FM, teaching you how to love. Look at that 12:15 in Bermuda right now. You know, it's Monday, and every Monday we go across the counter here, so to speak. And, of course, we have Ian Rollins and my man Earl Baston and Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baston. Brought to you by the Lindos Group of Companies, Colonial Group International, Global Atlantic Financial Group, Game Time, and Fit for Life with Dave Wolf. Now let's go live with Ian Rollins and Earl Baston.
And good afternoon and welcome to Inside Sports Talk Radio on this Monday. It's May 14th, 2018. I'm Ian Rollins with my colleague Earl Baston at the helm. And not Tom Bassett, but Roddy Gunn at the controls. Good afternoon to both of you.
Top of the day, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. The legal gun.
The legal guns.
So they tell me.
Does Donald Trump know it's legal?
Hey. He ain't invited there anyway.
Yeah, this is bigger than him.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. That sounds like a winner to me. You guys had a good 48 hours?
Yeah,
48.
Hasn't been that long, short.
That's short.
That's short.
Yeah, that's short.
Yeah, it's been a tie.
Yeah. I'm still trying to collect myself.
Okay.
Been early today, isn't it?
Yeah.
You be working this shift for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You sound excited.
Yeah. Usually in bed, probably.
Well, you know, it's like it's almost like going through like time zones. You know, when you're working a different shift, you gotta adjust yourself to that time and stuff like that. But all good.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I just want to give a rundown of guests we're having in the studio today. We have the president of the Bermuda Half Marathon Committee, Gina Tucker, and Lamont Marshall joining us in the studio today.
Okay.
In addition to that, we will be having some representatives from the football tournament that took place over the past week, the youth football tournament. Gentlemen from West Ham and others will be joining us in the studio. And this week, we will be having Dave Wolf, Fit for Life, as he will be bringing his series of corporate challenges, and he will tell us more about that later in the radio cast today. So that's going to be lined up. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, you can give us a call at 292-9595. And as we mentioned last week during Inside Sports Talk Radio, it was evident that Ian Rollins, when he picks the trivia question, it's too easy. So we've let Mr. Earl Baston pick the trivia question for today. And our sponsor today is the Sports Source, $25 gift certificate on behalf of the Sports Source. And of course, we will give our intro to that later on today. With that said, before we go to commercial break, just want to ask Mr. Baston how was this weekend and how busy it was for him.
It was steady. Area permit meet on Friday night. Saturday was rugby, horseshoe. What else was there? Quite a bit. Yesterday, horseshoe, football, cricket. Well, cricket was on Saturday as well. Baseball on Saturday. Steady. Just comfortably steady.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
Is the weather warming up? Was it a challenge for you getting around?
No. I mean, it's hot every year in Bermuda, so it's just you ignore enough of it. You get on about the business at hand. Yeah. When you got your mind and when you got your mind set on doing something, that's what you end up doing. So it doesn't bother me. Yeah, you realize it's hot sometimes, but you know what? Find a little bit of shade, and there you go. A couple of bottles of water, you're good to go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As you know, the English football season came to an end.
Yes. And you took the
fourth place.
Okay, that's
place.
The final Champions League spot, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Those teams that made it for the 2018.
No, let me ask you this question.
Sure.
The only way for Chelsea to get in is if you win it.
Chelsea's not in.
Right.
No, we won yesterday.
Right, but my point would be if you win the championship, don't another place go to England?
Oh, right. I can't remember. Yeah, exactly. If we win, that is a possibility.
I believe the fifth place team, because yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
All right. Can't remember last time. Who's
so
the last team?
Chelsea be rooting for you.
Yeah. and the
funny probably be the only team in England
rooting for us. And the funny part is they play Saturday in the finals of the FA against Man United.
Oh.
So are we rooting for them on Saturday?
I don't
think so. I don't think. Well, yes, we would because we're going against our arch rivals. So,
right.
We'll root for Chelsea.
Yeah.
And back burner, they'll come back and root for us the following Saturday.
Yeah.
Real Madrid.
It'd be interesting, dude.
Be
Now,
interesting.
years ago, I remember, looking in sometimes at English football and so forth.
Mhm.
There used to be a European spot for the FA Cup champions too. Is that still?
No.
So it's the 4 league
The
places,
right? And if a team from England wins, sorry, they
if they're in the top 4.
Top 4,
right?
the top 4 wins. Yes, go advance. I'm sorry.
Right.
And then if an English team wins the Champions League,
Right.
I got to look into that because I can't remember.
Now, some years ago when Naki played in what we used to call the Milk Cup.
Yeah.
Swansea won it.
Right.
They played Europe after winning that trophy, but they played a knockout stage before the actual tournament.
That's correct. Who knocked them out? I think it was Real Madrid. I think it was.
No, because they would have been in the Europa. That cup was a spot in the Europa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't remember who knocked them out at that time.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But congratulations to Man City for winning the league. Man United coming second, Tottenham coming third, and Liverpool coming fourth. And we've got 2 weeks to prepare for the finals.
A lot of money left on the outside. Arsenal, Chelsea, a lot of money left on the outside looking in. Isn't it?
Well, that's what you fight for, top 4, right? I know what it's like.
Do you think
I've been there before.
Do you think Liverpool and Tottenham can repeat their seasons next year?
Well, let me speak for Liverpool. I don't want to repeat my season. I want to advance. So I'm not going to say I want to come fourth again. No.
Right.
I want to win the league. I haven't won the league in 27 years, if I'm correct. So I want to advance. So you're right. Going to the Championship League final helps our purse. And advancing to the top 4 again helps us next year. So it would attract players. As you know, it's about the players.
Right.
I think the transfer market opens up this Friday already. I thought it was like the 1st of June, but someone was telling me today that it opens up this Friday. I haven't researched it, but man, I think it's going to be busy off season. I need one more defender. I need probably 2 more midfielders, and probably another man up front. So that's 4 players I need basically.
So you say that, who would you let go?
No, there are players that are going to leave. Ambry Charles going. It said that.
Oh, okay.
Juventus is going to sign him off, and he's going to make his money and go play in the Italian league, which is fine. But it's replacing.
Right.
That's why I say I need 2 good players. He was a good player.
I tell you what, if you do win the Champions League, it makes that more interesting to come over. So
players will say, okay, I need to go play for him. I need to go play for Klopp. You know. But you also got to understand that the pace that we're playing at, it's a high intensity pace, and you just cannot play that high for all those games. It's just unbelievable. I don't know how fit you are. Also, before we continue with football, got to congratulate Flora Duffy for winning again on Friday night. It was a short break from Bermuda to Japan, the traveling time, and then preparing mentally for the
just going from one continent to another continent, back to another continent, and you come out on top all 3 times. So.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And so at 30 years old, she's in the prime of her life. The triathlon. And they're saying right now that as an athlete, she may go down as probably the best athlete ever in this sport.
Imagine I know watching that race Friday night, technically I saw she figured out, I'm not going to get away on this bike. The course was too flat and a lot of turns. Yeah. So if anybody was watching the last 2 laps, she allowed the pack to catch her, and another girl had gone out early after like 3 or 4 laps, and it was 10 laps. So they all rode together. The last 2 laps, she put the hammer down, and all she was trying to do was take the legs from her, because they couldn't let her go. They had to. The 8 of them had to go together. If not, she'd have rode away from them.
Right.
So they all kept going. The only person that had legs, because she got off the bike in 6th.
Right. Okay.
Right. The only person that was able to go with her when she made the first break was Katie. Everybody else was like on rubber legs.
And you know what that's from?
Yeah,
that short break, 2 weeks.
And then at one point, just like she left the girl on Corkscrew Hill, like she was standing still, When Flora made her move, poor Katie. All she could do is watch her pull away, and literally could not respond to it.
Wow.
And Flora didn't look back until her last turn heading to the finish line that she actually looked back to see. Well, she would have only seen spectators because poor Katie was so far behind by then. And the field, they just decided we'll see who comes third, because I mean it was another phenomenal performance, and for those that were able to watch it, I think they were pleased, and for those who missed it, unfortunately, you missed another great performance. Yeah,
she's in a class by herself right now, and I can't remember when the next event is, but the race she's given, it's
and that was another Olympic distance, and that's what they done here, Olympic distance.
Wow.
So the next one, I believe, is a sprint distance.
That's in England, though, right?
I believe it is the second week in June.
The second week? Wow, that's close.
Yeah.
That's close. But again, congratulations to Flora for just capturing the title again. And let's put it, it's no secret that she will go down as the island's #1 athlete.
Yeah.
Right? Male, female, you name it. She's in a class by herself, and she's just performing like no other athlete we've ever experienced.
Okay, to the guys, you're battling for Athlete of the Year.
Pretty much. Amongst the guys.
Yeah.
Because she's got it. Again, for 2018.
Yeah.
And she deserves it. So that's just
that's
amazing.
An easy one. That's easy. So good luck, guys. You got your hands full trying to battle it out, because the females already decided.
That's amazing. She's just like incredible. Yeah. Have we ever had an athlete like this in Bermuda? No. Did we ever envision that we would have athletes like this? Yes. We've always said we had the talent.
We would get somebody who kind of takes the world by storm in their sport, and we had that. I mean, Nikki Saunders dominated high jump for a bit. But with what technology we have today, if these guys were in this era, I honestly believe that we would have more athletes, but had the same mindset. You look at the Brian Wellman. You look at these type of guys. They didn't need too much push behind them. They wanted it. They wanted to achieve big and better things, and they went about the task. Just going after it. On Thursday, I happened to be at the stadium when the international athletes were there. Weren't many coaches, but these athletes went on about their business. They warmed up, they stretched, they went through the motions. It weren't okay, we're gonna do this.
No,
and we're gonna do they go on about their business, and when they got to the stadium on Friday, business is ahead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes.
Yeah.
That's what it takes.
Yeah.
Getting back to your question about her next meet, it will be June 9th and 10th. That's in Leeds.
Right.
There's a relay one in Nottingham on June 7th. I don't know if she's competing in that.
I doubt
it as well. But individual for the World Championships, it's going to be June 9th and 10th. And then in Hamburg, July 14th and 15th, that's a relay World Championships and individuals. July
I think
14th and 15th.
One is another Olympic distance too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So mark that in your calendars, people. For June 9th and 10th, Flora will most likely be participating in that one. And then that's in Leeds. So that's going to be quite interesting. Wow. That's incredible.
Now she's the point leader.
Yeah.
Defending champion, point leader. 2 races done. There you go.
Yeah. Cool. Well, make sure all the best in that as well.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take our first commercial break, and we'll bring our guest in studio.
Used around the world for
Let's see. They should be here. She said she was coming.
In the U.S., you'll find it in ginger snaps. In the West Indies, gingerbread. In India and all over Asia, ginger and Simon Memorial and curries and other traditional savory dishes. Here in Bermuda, John Barrett and Son have been bringing the bold.
Yeah, you been good?
Ginger beer. Very refreshing, spicy, and quintessentially Bermudan. Lindo's, why 20 plates out.
What time is it? It's game time. More opportunities to win. All your sports betting needs without the road trip. Introducing Game Time East and Game Time West. Located next to Wahoos in St. George's and Main Road, Somerset by Somerset Cricket Club. All Game Time outlets open Monday to Friday, 12 to 6, Saturday 8:30 to 5.
Blood Ross is back.
For more details, visit GameTime.pm.
Hey, Poet.
Game Time. We play, we pay. Game Time.
Okay. Ian, this Brian Wellman.
Oh,
You guys expecting to call?
no, but we can bring him in right now.
Okay. Yeah, just hold on 1 second, bro. Okay. Ian stepped out for a minute. Let's just go check this on the gas.
Our grape juice is packed with bold flavor and nutritional benefits, and no added sugar. Visit Welch's.com for healthy recipes.
Inside Sports Talk Radio has been presented to you by Linda's Group of Companies.
You wanna come in?
Yeah, we can come in. Yeah. You can put him on here.
Yeah, just gonna put your bill real quick, bro.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. We were talking about athletics and athletes, and I mentioned the name of Brian Wellman, and he's actually called in. So good afternoon, Mr. Wellman. How are you today? We've lost him?
No, he should be still there.
No, got a doctor.
Okay.
You've lost it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Brian, if you're listening, you can call back. We were just talking about how athletes prepare, but we're going to be joined momentarily by the president of the Bermuda Half Marathon Derby and Lamont Marshall. Good afternoon, folks. How are you? As we all know, the race will take place on May 25th, as the government has legislated that there will be the final Friday of the month of May. So we look forward to May 25th. We just have, is he still there?
I think he might, yeah, he should be
No,
there.
we lost contact. We lost him again.
Who's that?
Brian.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
But joining us now, as we said, as we went to break, Ian did mention that we were going to have the president of the Bermuda Half Marathon Derby, Dr. Gina Tucker, and Lamont Marshall. We want to say, first of all, good afternoon to you both.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
To you.
Wow,
Wow.
2 years on. And it looks as if things are on the mend or have been mend, and we're looking forward to 2 weeks now. Or a week next week.
11 days.
11 days.
11
Yeah,
days.
yeah.
11 days.
Yeah. Well, how do we get to this point? How do we get to Lamont? Obviously, you've put your hand up and said you're back in. Dr. Tucker, how did we get to this point? Because there were some things exchanged a year ago.
Yes. Yes.
And it looks as if things have been discussed and
Yes.
sorted.
Yeah. But it's really pretty much that simple. For me, it is ensuring that this race represents, and this day or this event represents what it's intended to represent. And that is a race that's for the people, by the people, of the people. And so first on my agenda was to make contact with the Marshalls, the family,
Yeah.
because I do see the family as being a part of this day, and reached out to his dad. We brought contact to Lamont, and Lamont came and spoke with us, and most times things are miscommunications, misunderstandings, etc. And sometimes we all have to take, I have to take responsibility for maybe not communicating as clearly as could have been.
Right.
But it was important for me as the president of the committee, to reach out to help resolve whatever needed to be resolved, so that this day can represent what it's supposed to represent. And the Marshalls are supposed to be a part of this day. Yes. And so I'm glad that Mr. Marshall came. We had a chat with the committee. And I'm not sure you were there for that one.
Yeah, it gave me a
Yeah,
link.
you were there. That's right. You were there.
Give me a link, as
And
usual.
so we have, and he's given us some feedback. giving us some input, and I'm really hoping that we will continue to get feedback, that there will be a relationship that continues. Today he's a young man, but soon he's going to be a little older. He can come and work on the other side of this event, And so I'm hoping this relationship continues well into the future.
Well, Lamont, obviously you will feel better about a situation now that you've had a chance to discuss the issue.
It was a beautiful exchange, and when I came here, and like Ms. Tucker said, I was invited in the first exchange. It was to congratulate me on my season, my records. That was first and foremost before we get into the business. Because remember, I train 80, 90 miles a week, privately funded. A lot of times, some of my records may get in the paper. Sometimes they may not, or the news or anything. So when you get that encouragement, hey, congrats, we see you, it's really good and encouraging for athletes. Because athletes remember it, and for that, and then we could just move forward onto the task at hand. And basically, it was just like, the offer I couldn't refuse. Like, it was really, I could tell everyone had met before I met. We met. So, because everything had been laid out. This is what we're trying to do this year. This is that. And it was a good exchange, and now I'm just ready to run. Like, I mean, it's May, if you're a marshal in May, you're more than likely, either you're a contender or my father, my mother, or everybody's marshal in May.
I'm gonna remember that marshal in May. I'm gonna remember that.
Well, earlier we were talking, and I said that you're the defending champion out of the West.
Yes.
What are you gonna have to do to defend that title?
Like you said, he was just outside. He was just standing up. And we was like, it's going to be hot this year. It's going to be, and we got 11 days for it to get even hotter. Because it's not going to get any cooler. We're talking more heat, humidity. I always felt Somerset was harder because it has more inclines. They both have about, I would say, 5 hills. But Somerset has maybe 5 or 6 more inclines. Those little areas that you don't really pencil in as a hill, but it's like when you're running, hey, this is still good up steady. It's 30 seconds still into this incline. But Somerset's good, man. I mean, that's what I'm used to. I've only run St. George's the one time, so when I think of May 24th, the half marathon, I think of Somerset. Because my first one was 2001 when I was 16, 17, still at Barkley. So that's all I know is that that was years ago, and that was that's what I think. That's what I'm used to.
But you
17 years ago to be exact.
You said a marshal in May. So what does that do for you? Marshal in May 24th, now Bermuda Day, but what does that do for you?
It's hands down the biggest race on the athletic calendar. Nothing compares in terms of, we not only have crowds, we have spots. So you're talking about, it's not like every other race is just one crowd. May 24th, you're talking about from out. The first real major spot might be like Port Royal, Barnes' Corner, Campio, Heron Bay. You're talking about, I would say maybe 5 or 6 areas of like thousands. So time you hit East Broadway, you're just, so it's on the calendar. You always want to pencil it in. And for me, I always dabbled with the track training and the half marathon training. And it really doesn't work as much. This year, I feel that I'm in the best, most conditioned for half marathon. I still don't think I'm a half marathon or a marathon. But I think I'm in the best condition because, like I said, years ago, I would be doing 1500s right up until like a week or 2 before the race, which is just not the best thing for a half marathon. 1500 is less than 1 mile. A half marathon is 13. So that's really not going to help you. Then track and field spikes. It's 2 totally different things. So this year, 5 weeks out, I had the 10K national record out in Mount Sac, California. And since then, I haven't raced, just getting my mileage up, keeping it steady, hill work. Actually, I got heels right after this interview. I just pop over the Arboretum. That's why I came and kicked. You know what I'm saying? Knock this out the way and then just right on into it.
For a man that's coming in like this, I think you're on a mission to break this record this year.
Hey, man,
that's what it seems like to me.
Run fast, man. That's it.
Is there thoughts of breaking the record?
I think that I'm legit in a really good condition and really good space. On the day, the record, everything like that's always in the back of your mind. The first thing is to secure the victory. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you can get that icing on the cake in a really fast time, because of my training going into May 24 previously, no excuses, but I feel only run 112. I think I'm much faster than that. So first, let me get under 112, 110, and I feel that this year I'm best prepared for that.
Fair enough.
So much talk about the record, and so many records are being broken this year.
Mhm.
You notice,
Yes.
Our friend here has broken 2 already.
Already. And it's in the month of May.
And
Yes,
it's in
it's
the
March and May.
And it's the month of May.
All right.
We're considering actually doing an incentive award and recognizing the government's move with Flora and Burgess, Nikki. We are really looking to now, outside of our regular prize awards, establish a prize for record breaking.
Wow.
And so we agreed to under sub 110, is that what
Yes,
it's called?
yes,
Yes, sub 110. That's what we will call it. So anyone hitting there gets an additional, right? An additional.
Athletes know that, like athletes,
It's
when you
incentive.
know that's on. Yeah.
It's a
When it
big
comes
incentive.
to time incentives, you look at Boston, all the major marathons, all the major track meets, and they know it's a financial incentive on the line. That's that when you're feeling that little stitch in your side, you say, mind over matter. You're like, hey, I got that, that channel's on the line. It's like, and it really does make a difference. And for May 24th, it's only right. It's the like I said, every race pales in comparison to it. So to know that everything like that is on the line, it's really an exciting year this year.
You mentioned that your first race was in 2001, and mathematically that's 17 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you've matured during that time. You've been up and down. What is it like now in 2018 as opposed to 2001?
For me, I never stopped. The biggest, if you take a year or two off, sometimes those rust busters kill you. You're more likely or prone to injury. I always take a month off every season just to total running everything. I don't do anything. But I've done that ever since. I've never taken 2 years, 3 years off. And I think that's what's kept me both motivated as well as sort of fuel to continue to go on. Because like you said, I mean, that's a long time. And someone like me, I've always been indoor track, outdoor track, cross country, road racing. So I was always motivated in all different areas as opposed to, let's say, if I was just a miler on the track. So I can go to all different type of venues and places, races to just keep me motivated.
Now that the event is set aside for the 4th Friday of May.
That's
Perfect.
confusing too, Em. You need to really ensure that
Sure.
you get that sorted
The final Friday.
No, from what I understood, it was the last Friday before the last Monday. So we need to ensure that the government gets that sorted. Okay, I know, Earl, I know. We need to because it really changes everything when you say the 4th Friday.
Because some Mays might have 5
and some may have 4. Right.
And so my hope is that it is the last Friday before the last Monday. Okay, which is what we see this year, right?
I'm just glad that it's Friday. I don't
Indeed.
And that's my question. Right.
That's what really, because, and like we just said, 17 years ago, I remember going to school the day after running May 24th. And it's horrible. And it's not just me, because obviously I may have been the only runner up there that far, but you talking about, I think running the race is easier than the parade.
Right.
You're talking about that big Gumby outfit for about 5 hours. That's like kids need a break. Like, because like I said, if you're doing that entire route, I mean, and so just to make it on a weekend period, I definitely applaud that move. That change was good.
So you're glad that it's on a Friday now. You're happy.
Yes.
And that helps the psyche for an athlete. Because, May 24th last year, just example, be on Monday, and then the year after be on a Wednesday. Having it set on that Friday, you know how to train for it as well.
World of a different job. You got your weekend off.
That's true.
It's now established, which is what is awesome, and we have to train all of us to cease calling it 24th of May and start calling it Bermuda Day, because we've now claimed it actually as Bermuda's Day.
Right.
Which is has significance. Culturally, it has significance. Right.
We're gonna struggle with the more mature folk. Because that's always been there.
But this is a baby right now.
But then generations will catch on and will it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
But if the people who, like your organization, continue to put out that the race is on Bermuda Day, and it's put out there in the media and so forth, I think that concept will change.
Some people just are caught in it, in that.
Yes.
Some people still go to Central School.
Yeah.
They do know. You know what I'm saying?
It's so true.
That changed, what, 40 years ago?
That's right.
Man, I know.
Yeah.
It's funny, like I just looked at the calendar for 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So Bermuda Day
Mm-hmm.
is on the fourth Friday
Mm-hmm.
on May 24th next year.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no.
It would be May 24th, which
Right.
is fine.
Which is
Yeah.
fine.
Some years it would
Right.
be like
It's
that.
going to be like that.
That's right.
But we have
If
to
it's-
have the concept. It's Bermuda Day
Right.
Mhm.
Yes.
on the fourth Friday before that Monday.
It's the Friday before the last Monday.
Right.
Which will help.
Anything else new for this year?
Well, we've established a whole new sponsorship model. And so first, let me say, of course, thank you to Applebee for their years and years of sponsorship, and of which 5 were title, right? The last 5 were title, in which they gave tremendous support to this race and helped to really carry it for that period of time. This year, we've changed this model and we're opening up more to the community. So we have a wide range of sponsors this year. Applebee, thankfully, has agreed to continue as our prize sponsor.
Okay.
So they have provided the funds, financial commitment to the prizes. We though will sponsor the incentive prize, so that will come from our space. But we have a wide range of sponsors, including Cold Fusion, BGA, Icelandic, and Boros and Lightburn, ATL, and I have to say it wouldn't be the People's Race on the People's Day without who?
People's Pharmacy.
Without People's Pharmacy. And so we're really thankful for People's Pharmacy.
Right.
And so we're excited about this new path that we're taking, a new journey that we're on. We're looking to do different, new, and exciting things. So yeah, we're growing from strength to strength, and it's just most important that everyone is engaged. So I'm excited that the marshals are part of the May Day, right? So it's a good year.
It's interesting. You see how, if you just reflect on the time when Gina and her team took over, and her dad had passed on. Look at the accomplishments they've made 5-7 years ago to like now. Big strides, huge strides. So, and they're still looking to improve in that area. Just back to Marshall, it's great to have you back in the field. And of course, you bring.
That's it's an incentive.
That's what I'm saying, right? It's good to put that incentive there, and
let me get around the corner. I'm gonna bike around the corner.
And and then let me say that even sponsorship right now is still open. The idea is that the entire community can sponsor. If somebody wants to put up even additional funds for incentive, right? It's open. The idea.
That's historical. That's how it was.
That's how it was. That's right. And so the idea is that anyone can call up and say, "Listen, Dr. South Derby, we're putting up $5,000, right? Or we're putting up 1,000, or we're doing that. Could be families, business. Anyone can offer to do that, and in essence, celebrate on that day with the entire committee and with the community in this, and that's what we're trying to do, bring back that kind of support for the race, a more community-like support.
Which is good.
Any fears of competition you're looking at from any male wrestlers?
For me, your main competition first will be yourself. But I do see that Tyler is on the line. He's signed up, and for him and I think that's a really good battle between speed and endurance. He just broke the marathon national record. I just broke the 10K record. So we're both coming in fit and ready, and that's what the island needs. Every generation needs a really good rivalry. Like you had Calvin Hensley and Cal Bean, and years of just those rivalries, and it's always friendly competition, but it's just people to go head to head and just give the people an honest race.
My colleague Earl Basin said he'd be running.
It's an incentive.
Mike Watson, the dark horse.
Oh God, I'll have a horse. But obviously, you have to get your tactics right. If Butterfield is on the line, and he obviously he's going to be one of your main contenders. Technically, you got to get things right. How do you play that over in your mind on your way there? When do you start thinking about what I'm going to have to do to make sure I'm across the line first?
For me, I feel the race out first. Probably run 2 or 3 miles at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let anyone sort of draw you out or anything. You have your watch, you have your, okay, I want to run this pace and that.
Mm-hmm.
But everything plays into factor how you feel. Run how you feel. And like you said, I've been running this race for years.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I've run it 15, 20 times. So I knew to say, okay, well, hold back now. Or, you know, 'cause sometimes you might feel horrible starting out.
Right.
Mile 6, 7. You just get that second breeze, and then, like you said, you can't win the race in Somerset, but you can lose it.
Right.
You go too fast, like
Right.
I'm saying. So once you get that backside of Harbor Road, you start to feel yourself. For me, it's more or less feeling how I feel, like based off of experience.
Mm-hmm. When you're 11, how many years ago? 17 years ago. Over those years and doing the same route, what would you say will be for you the most challenging part?
For me, I always say, what's it called? Inverrori Hill.
Yeah.
Because that hill is like mile 9. Now, Burnt House and all that, okay, that's cool, but that's mile 6.
Right.
When you've been mile 9, you've been running for almost an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's long, it's rolling, it has a little turn. That hits you, to me. Yeah.
Right.
Inverrori is the most challenging.
That's where your brother made the break?
Just before that,
Just before that, yeah.
I think it was Red Hill.
Right. When you're running, years ago when it was odds of battle going on, is it a bit demoralizing when you start seeing somebody pull away and you just don't have it on the day? Definitely,
yeah. But it all depends. You can pick guys. I mean, if somebody's struggling coming into town, as we've seen, it's a lot of guys who've been overtaken in town. Like I'm talking about Front Street. Front Street marks what mile 11 might be Dismount Robinson, that area, double dots out or something, somewhere like that. So that's a lot of running to do, and then you have that Church Street area. Church Street, you can walk Church Street now, and it's cool. On the day, Marketplace is a serious incline.
Right.
Coming across Marketplace is a serious incline. It just warms you up for King Street.
Right.
So,
I forgot about King Street.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I mean, you can your last, if you can run those last 5 miles consistently, backside of Harbor Road coming into town, but who can do that?
Right.
That's hard, you know. I mean, even the winners.
Right.
Just because you win the race, whatever margin, doesn't mean you don't slow down and struggle.
Right.
It's just who can struggle the least.
If someone was to ask you do you remember the entire race, the one you won, would you remember that entire?
Not entire, but for the bulk, yeah. I had an advantage. I know that Trey Simons came off of a collegiate circuit.
Yes.
I remember being in that, not that same circuit, but I remember what it's like coming into the race, doing track and field, and being better prepared and sharper for track, as opposed to, because Trey, I think he definitely has what it takes to win it.
Yeah.
I think he will win it at some point.
At some point, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because even in school, he keeps making the national cross country overseas. So he's somebody I always watched out for.
Right.
But once I saw he was doing a whole lot of track because he has to. His coach says, hey, look, you have to do this race, that race. So I feel I had the advantage on him there. But I definitely remember pulling away. I wanted to lengthen the race last 2016. So I pulled away at the top of White Hill. That's where I said mentally, let me just see who's going to come with me. And that's when I gradually, it wasn't nothing major, but just gradually started to pull away. And every mile since then, that's when I was just sort of monitoring everybody. But I remember a good bit of it,
So I think this can be a tactic this year.
I think Earl needs to try this. Have you ever run? Because I have. I can attest that I have one. I know what King Street feels like. I know what it feels like.
I know what King Street feels like.
You've done this race?
No. I know what it feels like. Walk up and down the street. I'll save that for the people who want to come second.
Yeah.
If I run, I'm coming first.
Indeed. I just want to note that how impressive I am with Mr. Marshall.
Yeah.
You know, like it's very knowledgeable. He has very, I mean, it's clearly 17 years of experience, 57. You know, and he speaks in a way that I think we all should be proud of. And so I'm just acknowledging that. I'm
Thank you.
mesmerized by his intellect in this.
What it sounds like to me, though, he's going to be around for quite some time.
Well, he will be.
She was talking earlier.
Well,
The way you was talking earlier
yeah.
was it's not gonna be that old.
yeah, but he's a young man right now. But eventually he will need to take a different role in this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I always felt like I would never retire from track and field on a high. So if I'm continually breaking records on the track, I'm not gonna leave. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
If I broke records last year and this year, I would still stick to the track. I would pencil in different training for May 24, but I would still stick with the I've been successful in it, so I still feel that I have a couple of years left until I stop breaking records. They drag me off the track, and then I would focus on the marathon and that.
Right.
Yeah, I still have
What's your dad feel like right about now? Is he saying that this is probably your best ever in shape and condition?
He feels now that I'm stronger than ever, because just of how we've laid out the program. I've done a lot of mileage. Like I said, we've done a lot of weeks, 80, 90 miles a week. When you do that,
I don't even travel in my car. My boy told me I'm running a week. I don't even travel in my car.
when you put in those miles, like I said, it's literally muscle memory. So when you go in, and the first race of the season was a national record, and the last race before or going into May 24 was a national record. So we're definitely confident in that. Okay, we've put in the work. All that time and energy is for a purpose.
I'd just like to have him on next week, so just let him know that, right?
Sure, yeah, he would love that. Yeah, him.
For a runner or an athlete, how important is it recovery-wise?
Good question.
For me, I was never really an ice bath person. I think if you're injured or you two sort of I use ice, but not ice bath. Me personally, I always said salt water.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
after main runs and stuff like that, because it's right there.
Right.
It's right. We live on an island.
Yeah.
Go overboard. And I'm talking about just 20 minutes, half an hour, bare minimum.
Right.
But even if you schedule it for your weekend picnic or family day, just go in the ocean.
Are you putting your entire body in, or just
last week was just up to my waist. It was a little chilly. It was.
I was like,
it was little.
I saw what about.
But
it's warm now. It's so this newfound athlete that I'm just saying that I really appreciate the salt water. I say to people all the time, your medicine is all around you, and we need to get in that water more to help heal our bodies. So I totally
soul preserves.
That's right. It does. And so
we have to break away right now for news. Please don't go nowhere. We're going to take our news at 1 and we come back after this.
Awesome. Yeah.
So you'll run next year.